Rank mode in Brawl Stars promises to bring intense competition and meaningful progression. But does it actually deliver? Today we're diving deep into the mechanics, frustrations, and flaws that make rank mode one of the most debated features in the game. From punishing resets to lackluster rewards and even issues with matchmaking, there's a lot to unpack. Whether you're a casual player or hardcore grinder, this video will break down everything you need to know about the state of ranked mode and what could be done to make it better. Let's get into it. Let's start with the elo system, because it's arguably one of the most frustrating aspects of the ranked mode. At the end of the season, players lose all their elo points, no matter how much effort they put in climbing the ranks. Imagine spending hours upon hours grinding your way to Masters, battling through sweat-filled matches, only to see all your progress erased as soon as the season resets. Instead of feeling rewarded for your hard work, you're left starting from scratch, which feels more like a punishment than a fresh start. Now, to soften the blow, the game offers a rank boost based on your previous season's rank. At first glance, this seems like a helpful system. It's far from perfect. The boost only lasts until you reach the rank you achieved last season. Once you hit the mark, the boost disappears and your elo gains drop significantly. This means you're left grinding at a snail's pace to climb higher. And that's where the frustration begins. Essentially, the boost doesn't help you surpass your previous achievements. It only helps you regain them, leaving many players stuck in a repetitive cycle. The system became even more punishing if you decide to take a season off. Let's say you skip rank for a season to focus on trophies or, take a break from the game altogether. Whenever you return, you find yourself at a massive disadvantage. Without the boost, climbing back to your previous rank requires significantly more time and effort. What's worse, if you don't reach your past rank, you lose that rank icon on your battle card. This means other players will see you as a lower ranked competitor, regardless of your actual skill level. It's as if the game penalizes you for taking a break, turning what should have been a fun mode into a relentless obligation. And here's another issue. The system encourages constant play while offering little reward for the grind. Without your boost, each win earns minimal elo, making the climb feel tedious and unrewarding. It's particularly inconvenient for players who don't have the time to grind every season. The mode essentially forces you to play consistently or risk falling behind, not just in rank, but in how you're perceived by others in the community. The rewards in ranked mode are one of the biggest disappointments. On the surface, the promise of epic, mythic, and legendary star drops sound enticing, but the reality is far from rewarding. These drops often include mediocre items like cosmetics or small rewards that simply don't justify the hours of grinding it takes to earn them. And let's not forget about the rank drops you receive along the way. Usually just 100 bling, which feels almost insulting after putting in so much effort. The RNG of the rank skin is another frustrating aspect. Imagine grinding through countless matches only to get nothing of real value from your drops, while your friend lucks out and gets the rank skin on their very first drop. It makes the whole process feel unfair and demoralizing. This randomness doesn't reward effort. Instead, it creates a system where luck often trumps skill, leaving players frustrated. And then there's the issue of time versus reward. Grinding back to the same rank each season requires countless hours of effort, only for the same rank to appear on your profile. It doesn't feel like progression, it feels like you're running in a place. To make matters worse, even if you push all the way to Masters, the reward is just 3 legendary star drops for the entire season. Let's be honest, that's hardly worth it when compared to the other ways you could be spending your time in the game, like pushing trophies. Trophy pushing not only improves your profile's appearance, but also feels like a tangible process, whereas ranked often feels like a time sink with minimal payoff. Matchmaking is yet another glaring issue in ranked mode, and it's one that directly affects the balance and fairness of the experience. Solo players often find themselves at a massive advantage. Why? Because when you solo queue, you're matched against other solo players, meaning the opposing team are uncoordinated and lack the synergy that comes with pre-made teams. Sure, you'll occasionally be saddled with bad random teammates, but overall, solo matches tend to feel far easier and less stressful than their trio queue counterparts. The imbalance becomes even more apparent when you consider the rewards for solo queuing. In solo games, players earn significantly more elo points for a win compared to those queuing in trios. It creates a scenario where solo players not only have an easier time climbing the ranks, but also progress faster, making trio queuing feel like a waste of time, of effort in comparison. the disparity is so stark that it discourages players from teaming up with friends, even though teamwork and strategy should be one of the core components of the ranked mode. Trio queuing, on the other hand, feels like a punishment rather than strategic advantage. When you queue as a trio, you're frequently matched against other highly coordinated, full-stack teams, often in sweaty 80k lobbies where every player knows their role and has refined strategies. These matches are far more intense and challenging, which would be fine if the rewards reflected that effort required. But instead, trio players are stuck earning minimal elo points compared to their solo counterparts, making their grind feel both unfair and exhausting. Before we continue with the video, if you're enjoying this breakdown and want to see more deep dives into Brawl Stars, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's get back into it. The time commitment required to climb the ranks is another major source of frustration in ranked mode. Each match feels like high stakes battle because a single loss can undo hours of hard-earned progress. This creates an environment that's not only stressful, but also mentally exhausting, especially for casual players who just want to enjoy the game without feeling the constant pressure to perform at their absolute best. The grind-heavy structure of ranked mode often makes it more like a job than a game. Matches can take anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes, and with the added pressure to win, it's easy for players to burn out quickly. Unlike modes where you can hop in for a quick game, ranked demands your full attention and significant time investment, making it less accessible to players with busy schedules or those looking for a more casual experience. What makes it worse is that the effort rarely feels worth it. The rewards at the end of all that grinding often fail to justify the energy and time required to reach higher ranks. Players who invest countless hours are met with underwhelming surprises, leaving them questioning if the climb was even worth it. Ranked mode should be pinnacle of competition in Brawl Stars, but instead it feels more like a chore with lackluster payoff. Spending 15 minutes on a single match only to gain a mere 50 elo, especially because you don't have a rank boost, feels incredibly demotivating. And when you realize the opposing team only had a silver rank, it's hard not to feel like your time was wasted. It's even more frustrating when skilled and experienced players on the other team are actually masters but are in silver and want a rank boost from their teammates. Like, come on, Supercell, don't give less elo because someone is trio queuing for extra points and there are actually skilled and experienced teams on the other side. The elo system needs a serious rework. A potential solution could be to base elo gains and losses on the highest elo achieved by the enemy team combined during the season. This would ensure that skilled players aren't unfairly penalized for having a lower ranked teammate or for trio queuing. Maybe this could apply exclusively to trio queuing, giving players a fair shot at climbing without feeling like the system is actively working against them. As it stands, the imbalance between solo queuing and trio queuing feels like a fundamental flaw in ranked mode. If it isn't addressed, the mode will continue to annihilate the very players it's meant to attract, those who love competition and teamwork. Time can be easily fixed, and one of the best solutions is to implement single round games, at least until players reach a master rank. This change would make ranked mode much more accessible to casual players, drastically reducing the time commitment required for each match. Instead of spending upwards of 15 minutes on a single match, players could jump in and out with quick, intense games that only require one round. This streamlined experience would encourage more players to participate in ranked mode without feeling like a massive time sink. Meanwhile, keeping the traditional 2 or 3 rounds for players beyond Masters would maintain the competitive integrity of high-level gameplay. Hardcore players who are committed to pushing their limits deserve the full strategic depth of longer matches. By separating casual and competitive experience in this way, Supercell could strike a balance between accessibility and the competitive spirit that ranked mode is supposed to represent. This solution not only reduces frustration for casual players, but also ensures that ranked mode becomes more inviting overall. For many, the current structure feels more like a marathon than a game, and that could deter players from participating altogether. One-round matches could breathe new life into ranked mode, giving it flexibility to cater to both casual and hardcore audiences. Supercell, this one's a no-brainer. Let's make ranked mode less of a grind and more of a game. The competitive side of ranked is, quite frankly, a joke. For players who are serious about pushing their limits, aspiring to go pro, or are already professional, but this mode simply doesn't deliver the high-level experience it promises. One of the biggest issues is the overdominance of players who shouldn't have made it to the highest ranks in the first place. The current ELO system, combined with boosts and inconsistent matchmaking, makes it way too easy for unqualified players to climb into the top tiers. As a result, the competitive integrity of ranked mode suffers immensely. Professional players looking for intense strategic gameplay find themselves in matches that feel anything but challenging. Instead of battling equally skilled opponents, they're often matched against teams that have no business being in the same rank. This robs high-level players of the opportunity to experience truly competitive gameplay, which is supposed to be the core purpose of ranked mode. So, how can Supercell fix ranked mode? First and foremost, they could implement the ideas I mentioned earlier in the video, but there's also a few other changes that could be made to make ranked mode a more enjoyable and competitive experience. One of the biggest fixes would be addressing the reset system. Right now, losing all your elo at the end of the season feels like a punishment rather than a progression system. Instead of wiping everything, players should only drop 1 or 2 ranks at most when a new season begins. This way, the grind feels more sustainable and players aren't discouraged by the thought of starting from scratch every single season. In addition to fixing the resets, the elo boost system should just be completely scrapped. While it sounds good in theory, it often creates imbalance and frustration. Instead, the focus should shift toward making progression feel natural and meaningful, without relying on a temporary boost to regain lost ranks. A system where players earn consistent, smaller amounts of elo will ensure that every match matters and prevent drastic swings that make the grind feel unfair. Another major change would be making elo points harder to earn. This might sound counterintuitive, but hear me out. If climbing the ranks takes more effort, it would make higher ranks feel like a real accomplishment. To balance this, Supercell should significantly increase the rewards for achieving those higher ranks. Imagine getting exclusive skins, many more hyperchargers, or even new brawlers. Things that feel truly special and worth the time investment. Ranked mode has potential, but in its current state, it feels like a missed opportunity. The harsh reset system, underwhelming rewards, unbalanced matchmaking, this all makes the game mode more frustrating than fun. Supercell has a chance to turn it all around, but they need to act fast and prioritize player feedback. Until then, ranked mode will remain an exhausting grind that fails to deliver the competitive experience it promised. Well, that's the video, folks. If you agree, disagree, or have your own ideas for how ranked could be improved, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Let's keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.